Now, let's talk about what is independent event over here. So in this example, I have two spinner over here, and each spinner it's spun once. Okay, I will rotate this spinner and I will get an outcome. And after that, I will rotate this spinner and I'll get another outcome. Okay, so my question over here is work out the probability of landing an odd number and the letter A. Okay, so what are we interested in over here? Okay, so first let's look at this first. When I spin this spinner, okay, what's the probability I will get odd? So my odd over here will be my 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so that will be my 3/5, right? Okay, and then try to think about this. This is the probability that I will get an odd. Now try to think about it. Will this result that I get affect what I will get over here? Alright, so what I'm interested in right now is to find the probability that I will get a letter A. So will this result affect my result over here? Will I have a higher chance of getting A? Or will I have a lower chance of getting A? Or will there be no difference? So the answer is there will be no difference, right? This is its own wheel. This is its own wheel, which means they are independent. All right, the wheel, they are independent, right? So whatever I get over here will not affect my result that I will get over here. So that is what independent event is, okay? So let's continue with this example. So over here, I'm interested in finding this. So what's the probability I'll get an odd number and then the letter A? So let's just say I flip over here, we already found out the probability that I get an odd number is 3/5, okay? Okay, I'm done with this now, alright? Here comes the second one. So I roll this second spinner, what's the probability that I'll get the letter A? So there's only one A over here out of the 4, so my probability here will be 1/4, right? Okay? And what do we have to do with these two probability over here? There's one important keyword that you have to remember, which is this word, the word and over here. The word and over here in probability means multiply. Okay? So all you need to do is to multiply both of the probability and you will get your answer. So the answer over here will be 3/20. Okay, we are done. Okay, so let's look at the second example over here. So what's the probability? Okay, what's the probability that I will get neither an odd number and not the letter A? Okay, so remember these two events, they are independent events. Okay, whatever result I get over here will not affect the result I will get over here, right? So what's the probability I will get an odd number? Okay, so odd number, neither an odd number, which means not odd. Okay, so if I am choosing not odd, it's gonna mean my even number over here, right? It's gonna be my 2 and 4. So my probability over here is number of outcome, which is 2, over the total outcome, which is gonna be 5 over here. Not letter A, my second option here, not letter A is gonna be my B, C, and D. Number of outcome 3 over the total outcome, which is 4. And the word and over here tells me that I have to multiply both of the probability. So that will give me 6/20. Okay, that will give me 6/20. Alright, so that's how we solve problem in regards of independent events. Now, on top of that, okay, for independent event, we can also describe all the possible outcome by using something we call a tree diagram. Okay, we can utilize this tree diagram to see what is all the possible outcome that I get here. So over here, how do I construct my tree diagram? It's very simple. Take a look what are the options you have over here. So based on the first spinner, I have my first spinner. So I'm just going to label this as my first spinner. And this one, it's my second spinner. Right? So I'm going to input this information inside here first. So this is my first spinner. And my second spinner will be over here. So when we want to start to do this activity, we will spin the first spinner first, right? So what are the outcomes that I can get? What are the outcomes that I'm interested in right now? The outcome I'm interested in right now are odd numbers. So what are the two outcomes? It's either I will get an odd number or not an odd number, right? So that's what I'm going to write over here. So when I spin this, I have two outcomes. Okay, I'm interested in only two outcomes, which is odd and not odd. Okay, so I'm gonna draw an arrow over here. So when I spin, I will start from here. Okay, this is my starting point. I will branch out. I will have two outcomes. So my outcomes are odd, or I will get not odd. Okay? Now I'm done spinning the first spinner now. Okay? Now let's just say I get odd for my first spinner. Let's just say I get odd for my first spinner. Okay? I'm gonna spin the second spinner now. Now the event that I'm interested in my second spinner, it's gonna be if I will get the letter A or if I don't get A. So it's either A or not A. Okay? So if the first time that I get is odd, what is the outcome that I can get for my second spinner? So I have two options again. So I'm going to branch up again. I have two options again. So that will be, I will get the letter A, and also I will get not A over here. Okay? But these are not all my possible outcome. In my first spinner, I also have a chance to get not an odd number, right? So that's gonna be my even number. So if I get my even number, what's the probability? Okay, what is the probability? Okay, that I will get A and not A. So again, very similar to this, I get my two options again. So it's either I will get the letter A, right? It's either that I will get the letter A, or I will get the letter which is not A over here. Okay? So that's how I construct my tree diagram over here. Okay? So again, the next thing I'm going to write is going to be all my possible outcome. So these are going to be my outcome. So how many outcomes are there in total? There will be a total of 4 outcomes. Okay? So where do I see the outcomes? The first outcome is going to be from here. I will get an odd and A for my second spin. So I'm going to write here, I will get odd and A. That's my first outcome that I will get. Okay? So what's my second outcome? I will get odd and not A for my second spinner. Okay? So I will get an odd for my first spinner and not A for my second spinner. So what's my third outcome? So if I don't get this, I will get not odd, right? I will get not odd and the letter A. So that's my third outcome. Not odd and the letter A. And finally, what's my last outcome over here? I will get not odd and not A. Okay? Not odd and not A. Okay? So these are all my possible outcome. All right, again, when we talk about independent events, there are two events over here, all right? What is the probability that I will get something I want and something I want over here? Okay, that's independent event. And that's how we describe it using a tree diagram, okay? So over here, again, like we can see, there are a total of 4 possible outcomes as labeled so far. We're not done yet. In this tree diagram over here, we can input all the probability that we know, okay? So based on the first spinner, what is the probability that we get an odd? Okay, again, there are 3 odd numbers in the first spinner, so I know that this is gonna be 3 over 5. All right. So again, if this is 3 over 5, what do you think is the probability over here? Okay, because again, in my first spinner, the events are mutually exclusive, right? I will either get this or I will get this. Okay, and we have already understood that the maximum probability is always 1. So the probability over here is going to be 2 over 5. Okay, this plus this is equals to 1. Okay, so the next event here, what is the probability that I will get an A, all right, in my second spinner? So that will be, based on the second spinner, there's 1A out of 4 total outcomes, so that will be 1 over 4. Now, if the probability of me getting an A is 1 over 4, automatically I know over here that's gonna be 3 over 4, right? Because the event over here, they are mutually exclusive. They are either get A or not A, right? So as the same thing over here, that's going to be the same as well. And that's how we do it. Okay? Now, the final thing over here is going to be the probability. Okay? Now, let's find all the probability over here. Now, again, for independent events, if you see the letter, if you see the word "and" over here, okay, I'll underline this so you can see much more clear. You understood it means multiplication. You just have to multiply the 2 fractions. So the first one will be odd, and this one multiplied, that will be 3 over 5 multiplied with 1 over 4. We have already done it. That's going to be 3 over 20. Next one, 3 over 5 multiplied with 3 over 4. That will be 9 over 20. The third one will be 2 over 5 multiplied with 1 over 4. That will be 2 over 20. And the last one, 2 over 5 multiplied with 3 over 4. And that will be 6 over 20. So again, these are all my chances of getting all these outcomes. Alright? Now remember when we talk about over here, if we look like this, do you notice that the events are mutually exclusive? Okay, when you add the probability, they will get 1. So the same thing you can see over here. Now I would like you to try yourself, add up all this probability. And you should get a total of 20 over 20, which is the maximum probability 1. Okay? So that's how we do independent event, and that's how we show all the possible outcome in an independent event through a tree diagram.